Ah, my fellow man. Welcome again to Diverging Humanity, where we are now, and thereby to my second message to you, and by extent humanity, on how we generally and fundamentally establish, maintain, and further grow our excellent world of tomorrow. We have covered in the introduction the excellent world of tomorrow, which consists out of true world peace and world prosperity, and is achieved by filling our world in with excellent ideas. In other words, ideas which fill all our healthy human needs into a very high degree and reliably, all the while filtering out the bad ideas which do not fill our human needs into the same high standard, which in turn is achieved by systemically maximizing honesty and competence in our world society, while minimizing corruption and incompetence, fundamentally. This excellent world of tomorrow was attached to a paper which came out in March 1991. We are here at the United Nations of Diverging Humanity a couple of months later, where a UN-held think tank picked up on the recommendations of the paper's authors to further fill in a constructive strategic doctrine to achieve that truly healthy and normal world, as well as a reliable governance system and a fundamental world document to enable that governance system and doctrine. The think tank, consisting out of the world's most demonstrably competent thinkers, was introduced by the following speech to their world.
My beloved fellow man, we have fought longer amongst each other than history is long. Its countless amount has conditioned us into believing aggression towards each other will always remain. But who would have thought during prehistory, and the greater length of history itself, for there to be an entire continent across the Atlantic Ocean, from both directions, for us to now stand at the impossible to the ancient peoples of Africa, Europe, and Asia, to be beyond the edge of their world, the American continent. At the same time, regardless of my position, will this message reach you in the fraction of minutes, whether you live in Asia, Africa, Europe, South America, or Oceania, a now normality belonging to the mythology of more than 99% of us. And let me go even further. Face-to-face conversations through the internet will become normal to us all in the next 2 decades. No one other than us now could even remotely dream of today's world, let alone live in it. We are not the same humanity as prehistory and history. No longer a couple of local tribes, bounded to the cursed lack of understanding towards each other and the natural surroundings. Nor our voices reach limited. We have globalized, our conscious becoming universal, our capacity for communication and information sharing equally as vast. Let me therefore ask you, why still war? Why still war when we are capable of communicating and sharing information with all of us instantly, and thereby have the potential to solve conflicts amongst each other before they escalate? And given our advanced potential for destruction, all the more reason to ask ourselves, why still war? If reason and logic guide your course, then your one profound conclusion can only be there is none, and its persistence, including other forms of aggression, only work against ourselves, against the common good, and against our fellow man. We just need the right course of ideas to follow through towards world peace. And there are none more reasonable and logical than the ideas which connect world peace fundamentally, generally, and universally with world prosperity. The ideas which ambition nothing less than the minimization of corruption and incompetence in our world society, while maximizing honesty and competence along with. Let us focus globally on these ideas which release us from our constraining survival instincts against ourselves and collaborate towards the world in which we all can thrive. The excellent world of tomorrow. Gather our brightest thinkers for us to bridge today's world with tomorrow's world, leaving war, famine, disease, and every other involuntary suffering in yesterday. Of humanity, by humanity, for humanity.
And so their world's brightest thinkers gathered to fill in the recommendations of the introductions paper for the excellent constructive doctrine, the excellent governance system, and the excellent world constitution. Let's go to that meeting to discuss these ideas.
Whoa, that was pretty quick.
Tell me about it. All right. This think tank concluded on mutually assured construction, the opposite to mutually assured destruction, and unlocks our excellent world of tomorrow. Bureaucracy, the governance system where all other systems such as democracy and autocracy highlight mere parts of it. And the world constitution, foundation to world peace and world prosperity. Bureaucracy and the world constitution form 2/3 of the key which unlocks MAC. And you, my fellow man, no matter where you are in our human world, are the final part of that key by sharing my message with your network. Once humanity has become aware of MAC, bureaucracy, and the world constitution as described here, then we can work towards our unification as humanity, and these ideas further realization towards the establishment, maintenance, and further growth of excellent world peace and world prosperity, and thereby your own as well as your loved ones, and everyone else excellent life of peace and prosperity within. And that last part will benefit you as well, all of us. For when there are fewer to none problems in our world, such as international problems, then more collaborations will be possible. And can we accomplish higher goals which will benefit us all further in quality and quantity of life? So, listen up. MAC, Mutually Assured Construction, the world's strategic doctrine which enables our full potential as humanity for us all to thrive. Translates, of course, to the excellent filling of our human needs hierarchy. As individuals, as peoples, and as humanity overall, and is thereby in stark contrast to MAD, Mutually Assured Destruction, where MAC concerns the win-win to all, and thereby connected to all some, is lose-lose the result of MAD, and beforehand, from deteriorating relations amongst nuclear powers, who concern themselves increasingly with win-lose transactions. In other words, MAC is about constructive collaborations to all the common good, and the unification of humanity in its entirety. MAD is madness from destructive competition and will destroy the common good and jeopardize our human needs hierarchy in its entirety. And is MAC the result of honesty and competence amongst governance and the rest of society across our world, while MAD the result from corruption and incompetence amongst governance across our world? And note, MAD does not even have to come from someone launching the nuclear weapons themselves by will. It could come from an error in the nuclear detection systems as well.
But that would not happen in reality, right? Such errors?
Well, it already nearly happened on September 26, 1983, when the Russian nuclear detection system OKO registered the launch of a nuclear missile from the United States and nearly fully retaliated, except for one authorized soldier who did not believe the system. And that man was right. The system malfunctioned. Billions of human beings nearly died that day because of a faulty military system.
No way!
Yep. Pretty sick world we live in at the moment, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Well then, keep on listening, because we can fully heal our world. Back to MAC and MAD. As you understand, is the existence of MAD highly disrespectful towards ourselves, a blight upon our collective soul and spirit, and deserves to be replaced with MAC ASAP for all our sakes. Important for you to know if you are aware of mutually assured survival. Another world strategic doctrine which focuses more precisely on survival than MAD is of course included in MAC. For to thrive, one needs to be alive. To survive, following the terminology. But then first, how MAC towards our excellent world of tomorrow? How that worldwide win-win mentality of collaboration across nations, rest of society, and amongst ourselves as individual human beings. How the strategic doctrine of MAC is established is summed up in 3 key terms: nurture, connect, and respect. It is straightforward. For us to establish world peace and world prosperity, our excellent world of tomorrow, concluded this think tank on the requirement for all to be included in the sum of their world, in order to nurture the human world. which they meant for humanity to stand beyond our entire world as humanity, and to carefully filter out the destructive ideas to our human needs hierarchies, and replace them with constructive ideas, which does benefit our human needs hierarchies. You need to understand there is a crucial difference between how we go about our world as peoples of countries and how we go about our world as humanity. The first one leaves us to the degree of honesty and competence present amongst the world leaders and politicians we give decision-making authority. The second one thinks and acts like the collective human God we in reality are. If we do not want war, let alone nuclear weapons, to be amongst ourselves, then by the second, it is as powerful and as simple as the collective decision we as humanity make with a stroke of the digital pen by all ourselves. And considering nearly 80% of us human beings are family-oriented, and with the reasonable assumption no one wants suffering for their family members, short-term and long-term, or wishes upon any other human being, then the decision for world peace is pure logical consequence. The same applies to all the ideas we as humanity in our world share amongst each other. Ideas such as AI, the internet, social media, being able to turn our pseudo-internet, pseudo-social media, and the rest of the pseudo-world of tomorrow into their true excellent forms, which will be in full service to ourselves as we deem best for ourselves, without the negativities to our world as they bring now. Thus, once we as humanity officially collectively decide, let there be world peace and world prosperity, then there shall be. So go we as the human God. Consequentially, regarding all the matters which affect our human needs negatively, our needs nurtured to positivity. The logical follow-up question then becomes, how are we able to nurture our world and our own human needs hierarchy within? Bringing us to the second key term, connect. This second key term, connect, to mutually assured construction, has everything to do with the scientific term we ourselves gave as humanity, Homo sapiens. The homo part, not to be confused with the English term, stands in Latin for human, as sapiens stands for wise and knowledgeable. Together they form us, the wise and knowledgeable human. As you fundamentally understand from yourself needs our collectively gathered wisdom and knowledge, be effectively and efficiently connected to us humanity in order to fully nurture our human needs. And of course, within that vast collective library, be connected to our own individual human needs, and as peoples, in respect to others. Win-win. To fully enable that connection between sapiens and homo, to effectively and efficiently nurture our world, countries, and ourselves within, need the following happen. We, humanity, we human beings, must be central in the functionings of our world's society in relation to ourselves and to others whom we share our world with. More elaborately means this central connection for us human beings, man and women, to be functionally connected with all the levels of our human needs hierarchy and with society. For example, that when you are in the market for housing, such as social housing, that you are firmly connected to the societal outbouts of that housing market. There is a housing crisis in the Netherlands, my home country, where young adults often have to wait more than 7 years for a rental, and buying having become out of reach for most, which is simply unacceptable, especially for a highly developed country such as mine. There always needs to be sufficient housing for anyone in our world to not have to wait more than 1 or 2 years, ideally even less. To appropriately manage such housing waiting times and buying accessibility is one of the millions of reasons why we human beings must be fundamentally and firmly connected to the societal parts which affect our own quality and quantity of life. Further needs the entirety of us be connected to all the societal expertise among us in order to reliably assure the quality and quantity to all our human needs. This means that we human beings are connected to the societal expertise relevant to our human needs. Picking up the housing example. For people in the housing market to be firmly and functionally connected to the community of housing experts, they understand the housing market, its supply, and all related context to the housing problem like no other. And they therefore carry the library with the highest quality ideas to solving their field's problems as well, which is the third connection, ideas. The fact there is a housing crisis in my country demonstrates a lack of excellent ideas connected to the housing market and their excellent realization in my country. They may be present amongst experts, but clearly there is disconnect regardless. Additionally, we are an intelligent species with a powerful capacity for problem solving. Sometimes non-experts may have very high-quality ideas, which experts simply have overlooked. We are all human, after all. Or in one country, there may be an excellent idea present, which benefits other countries as well. An example on the latter is this: underground waste storage, which has become normal in my country and secures housing waste against rodents, other animals, and human scavengers, is more hygienic, saves space with more waste capacity. This solution is excellent for environments with raccoons or other garbage lovers. Examples such as this is why ideation and our libraries of ideas need to be connected with humanity and to us as communities of experts. This connectivity of our ideas, our expertise, and us humanity as human beings goes all the way upward to the ideas of excellent world peace and world prosperity, to connect the human part of Homo with the wise and knowledgeable part of Sapiens. Let me ask you, what will be more a demonstration of world collective wisdom and knowledge applied to our world than declaring world peace and world prosperity? Of the human part fully connected to the Sapiens part, than to follow through on it as well?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing indeed. And brings us to the third and last part of mutually assured construction: respect. Just like nurture and connect, is respect straightforward. For mutually assured construction, do we collectively need to respect the fact of our human needs' universality? How every human has these needs and want to nurture them healthily and reasonably. Consequentially, respect the fact our excellent world of tomorrow, where all these human needs are reasonably, healthily nurtured, is our normal and healthy world, our true world. And respect interdependence to connect us humanity with all our expertise and all common good-related ideas which make our world.
Excuse me.
You have a question?
Yes. What does interdependence mean?
Interdependence means that we are reliant on one another. As mentioned before, is society teamwork? So see interdependence as teamwork. How the lawyer sometimes need to rely on the expertise of a car mechanic, as the car mechanic sometimes the expertise of a lawyer. And both relying on the expertise of farmers and medical doctors, as vice versa. It goes along independence, which means is that we are not dependent on others, but work together to fill our human needs into higher quality and quantity degrees.
All right. Thank you.
Further, respect. We have all the expertise in our world to establish, maintain, and further grow our excellent world of tomorrow. We have grown as intelligent, sapient species to a point where all our human needs can be nurtured to excellence, maintained, and further nurtured. All you have to do is to respect the requirement of our collective sapiens, be fully connected with us humanity, which, as you will become aware in the following videos, is perfectly possible. Respect bureaucracy and the world constitution, key to mutually assured construction. The world's strategic doctrine for us humanity to connect respectfully with all our expertise and common good, and nurture our pseudo-world into our excellent world of peace and prosperity for us all to thrive, aka our excellent world of tomorrow. To enclose this message to you about mutually assured construction, for now, the most important element in the establishment, maintenance, and further growth of our excellent world of tomorrow is that you start to respect yourself fully. Do not accept this low-quality, unreliable, and far from ideal world society we currently have for yourself and your loved ones any longer, with its endless list of societal problems, such as housing problems, unreasonably high food prices, wars amongst each other, nuclear weapons, financial crises, immigration problems, any longer, none of them. Let them in our past, no longer in our future. Give yourself and your loved ones our normal, healthy world of world peace and world prosperity, where we have ascended the governance reliability threshold, and where you have responsible control over your own human needs and respect to your fellow man, as those you lovingly take care of. In other words, the web of problems and opportunities which affect yourself and your care-receiving loved ones. That web including fundamentally world peace and world prosperity. Take a moment now for yourself. Let my message thus far resonate with your inner humanity, and give your network and fellow man the same enlightenment as you have received thus far by sharing my message. And see you at message 3, the first part of Purocracy. Thank you.